Today, I'm going to be talking about advice I would give to myself if I could go back and give it to my 18-year-old self or myself as a 20-year-old, early 20s. Because if I'd have kept on investing £500 a month as an 18-year-old, I would be retired at 40 easily. But I didn't know any different. Now, the purpose of going live today is to emphasize the importance of investing. That's what I do with all of my YouTube videos. All I'm trying to do, the main thing I'm trying to do is get people to invest, people who are on the fence, because I realise how important it is. I realise that inflation isn't 2 to 3%, it's more like 10 to 15%. And if more people knew this, they would change the way they invest. They wouldn't stick the money in a savings account. They wouldn't have it in cash because it's getting eroded year after year. So today, to emphasise the point of investing, I'm going to be telling you why we need to retire ASAP. I'm going to be giving you some of my mistakes I've made over the last 23 years as an investor, and I'm going to finish on a positive note. I'm going to tell you about a little comeback story. So, why we need to retire ASAP. Now, you might be thinking, I'm talking out my ass. You might be in your 20s or your 30s, and all you care about is your next car or night out with the lads, going on your next holiday. I totally get it. This was me because I didn't know any different, because I didn't have any financial education. My parents didn't teach me. I didn't get taught at school. Now, hopefully, with the little story I'm going to get to, you're going to think differently, and you're going to know that it's important to retire as soon as possible, as soon as humanly possible. I'm going to tell you about a guy called Frank Raw. Now, Frank was an electrician, and I used to work with him around 2007, 2008 time. I was a struggling electrician working 7 days a week to pay the bills. Yeah, get the violin out. But I was working 7 days a week, and so was Frank. But I was like 25, Frank was 64. And on this particular Sunday morning, I remember Frank was telling me all about his retirement plans. He was going to retire 12 months later as a 65-year-old. He just paid his villa off in Spain, and him and his wife of 45 years, I think it was, were going to go off and retire in the sunset. He was practicing his Spanish on me. He was excited. Now, when we used to talk, I used to think, my situation's bad enough. I'm 25, I'm working 7 days a week. I haven't got enough time with my family, my friends. I'm not doing what I want. I don't want to be here on a Sunday, on a cold Sunday morning. I think on this particular day, it was -10. And I thought to myself, I definitely don't want to be doing that at Frank's age, at 64. It was brutal for me in my mid-20s, but I was young, I could do it. I could get up on them early mornings, them cold mornings. God knows how hard it was for Frank. But what makes this little story worse is that, yes, Frank did retire 12 months later as a 65-year-old, but he didn't get to do it in Spain because his wife of 45 years had a major stroke. So what happened to Frank? He became his wife's full-time carer in the UK. Now, I'm telling you this story because it's important to get that retirement plan as soon as possible. So you don't have to wait until you're 65 or you're 70 until you retire. We want to retire as soon as possible, especially if you're like me and you're in a job which really you've got no passion for. You don't really like it. It's a bit of a chore. Now, I'm grateful for work. I'm grateful for providing for my family, etc., etc. Of course I am, but I don't have any passion for it. I want something different. So if I'll get that financial freedom over the next few years, it's going to give me that choice, that freedom of choice, so I can do more of what I love with the people I love. So hopefully that little story has driven home the point how important investing is, how important retiring is. Now I'm going to move on to investor mistakes I've made over the years as an investor, obviously. So first mistake I've already touched on, I was 18-year-old and I started investing in a stocks and shares ISA. I was doing this £500 every month for about 5 months, maybe 6 months. And what I'd done, I blew the money. But I blew it on a holiday. I took that money and I went away with the lads to Ibiza. Yeah, the holiday was good, but if I'd have understood money, investing, economics, I would have kept on investing. I would have found a way to go with the lads anyway. I would have kept on investing. And as a 40-year-old, I would have easily retired. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two, as a 23-year-old, leaving the RAF, the Royal Air Force, with no job, I bought a house. I bought this particular house because of FOMO. Two of my best mates were buying a house that was getting built, and they were bragging about making 20 grand, 30 grand. FOMO kicked in, jealousy kicked in. So what did I do? I steamed in and bought a house for £130,000, hoping to make a quick £20,000. It didn't go to plan. The house never got valued above 120,000 for at least 10 years. So me and my future wife, Mrs. Duffy, had to move in for 5 years in a house we really didn't want to live in. It worked out in the end, but you get the point. I bought this house because of FOMO, and we struggled because of it, because of this stupid mistake. So mistake number two, fast forward a few years, I'd got into commissioning, I'd went back to college, got a HND, got a degree, and I started earning good money. So I saved quite aggressively. You're talking 2013, 2014. So what I'd done, I put £70,000 into premium bonds, hoping to make big money, hoping to make £100,000, £1 million. As you can imagine, it didn't happen. And in 4 years, we made 0.5% interest. So not the best. Not the best at all. So don't do this. For me, you don't go with premium bonds. You invest into assets. Assets like the S&P 500, property, Bitcoin, crypto, whatever takes your fancy really. So mistake number four. Which one shall I choose? I've made that many. We'll go with 2015. My cousin, who was into crypto way back when, 2015 Christmas Day, I got told about Bitcoin. And unfortunately, I completely ignored my cousin. I ignored him because I didn't have a clue. I didn't have any financial literacy. I didn't understand that the current financial system is broken. And I ignored him when Bitcoin was at around $300, maybe $400. So imagine if I'd have put 10% of them premium bonds into Bitcoin at $300. You can only imagine what I'd be sat on now. But I didn't have that education. My cousin had a master's degree in economics around 2008, 2009, and this led to Bitcoin. Fast forward to 2025, and he's a multi-millionaire. So this is a little lesson on why you should get financially educated, why you should become financially literate, because it can lead to things like Bitcoin. Now imagine you were financially literate now, you took the time, 3, 4 months, maybe 6 months, you got that education, and you managed to pick an AI crypto, and fast forward 3 or 4 years, and that crypto goes up massively. This is what's possible if you put the work in. So I'm going to finish with one more mistake. And this is when I first got into crypto in 2017. 2017, I finally listened to my cousin, got into crypto, bought 3 altcoins, put 2,000 in each, so a total of 6,000. And at the start of 2018, my 6,000 went up to 30,000. And I didn't cash out because I was thinking, I'm going to make 100,000 here, 150,000. As you can imagine, it didn't go to plan. My 30,000 went back down to 6,000, and I watched it go to practically zero because at the time I had financial literacy issues. So again, what I'm doing with these mistakes, I'm trying to drive home the importance of financial education so you can invest. So you can invest to protect your financial future and your family's financial future. So now I'm going to move on to a little comeback story. So 2018, fast forward to 2018, I'd I was sick of making mistakes. About mid 2018, I found myself working at Gatwick, South London. I was in a B&B, a shithole, and I was paying £45 a night, £50 a night, and you can imagine the state of it. I was on a job, I stopped working offshore, so I wasn't earning anywhere near what I was earning, so I was being a tight ass for my digs. So you can imagine the state, £45 a night in Gatwick, near London, in South London. It was that bad, I needed a sleeping bag to sleep on top of the sheets. So I was travelling up and down the country every week, coming home on a Friday night, going back down Sunday night, 6 hours there, 6 hours back. I was sick. I'd finally got a point where I was sick of my situation. Yes, I'd earned good money, but lifestyle creep kicked in and I'd spent good money. And them savings that I was talking about, the premium bonds, were going down rapidly. So I was sick of whinging about money, sick of working away, sick of being a whinger, sick of being a victim, one of life's victims. This was me mid 2018. So I started watching YouTube videos. I started watching Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas, etc., etc. And I got into personal development. Towards the end of 2018, I started setting goals. And from 2019 onwards, things have improved massively. I've read hundreds of books, investing books, money books. I've watched hundreds of YouTube videos, listened to hundreds of podcasts. I've spent thousands of pounds on courses, property investing courses, stock investing courses, how to grow on YouTube, Part-Time YouTuber Academy. I've spent thousands and it's led to good results, much better results. So going 2018, for example, with property, I was minus £50,000 in negative equity. My little property portfolio didn't go to plan. But since then, it's changed. I've turned things around. Now I've got 6 properties. I've gone to 6 figures in property investing, 6 figures in stock investing, and 6 figures in crypto investing. Not a brilliant result, especially compared to the fact that I've been investing for 23 years, but it's my comeback story. I've gone from minus 50,000 to having 6 figures in 3 different asset classes, all because of financial education, financial literacy. Things have improved over the last 6 years. I've built a school community where I'm teaching hundreds of investors how to invest. That is my thing. That's my whole thing and has been since 2019. So 2019, I started getting into financial education, reading all the books. I started investing into index funds and I've been doing that every single month ever since mid 2019. I started writing a blog to help other people. Mainly I was going over past mistakes, trying to teach people what not to do. But what I've found over the years, people aren't asked about your mistakes. But it's important for me, so I keep telling people because that's where you're going to get the most value from me and my investing journey. It's okay, you might see people on YouTube, well, you're going to see people on YouTube or other platforms telling you how they've made millions in 3 months, 6 months. Yes, brilliant. I'm happy for people like that. I want it for myself. I want it for you. But that hasn't been my journey. My journey's been up and down. It's been painful at times with all them mistakes. I just want to be brutally honest. I want to tell you exactly what's happened to me so you can prioritize investing. And I believe that if you take on board what I'm saying with my mistakes, you're going to save yourself years. You're going to save yourself serious time and money. Yes, you are going to make mistakes as an investor. It's just a fact of life. But if you can learn from me, you're going to save yourself some pain, a lot of pain. So what I'm doing with this video, as I've said, is telling you the importance of investing. Now, if you want to learn more, if you want to learn exactly how to invest step by step, you can join my school community. It's free. You get in there and you've got 2 investing courses, completely free, and it's going to get you to a point where you can invest in the stock market. So, Complete Investing, it's a free course. I'm just going to touch on my main course within this community, and it is Complete Investing Fundamentals. Module 1 is Money Mindset. Module 2 is personal finance. Module 3 is basic economics. Module 4, mistakes to avoid, which I've touched on. And Module 5, stocks for beginners. What you do, you get in the community, you do the course material, and if you've got any questions relating to the course material, you ask in the community. It's a community of like-minded investors. Investors come here and bounce off each other. I believe we all need help and support in anything we do, especially investing. Now, I've been investing by myself for 23 years. It's lonely, if I'm being honest. It's something that's important, but if you're doing it by yourself, it's lonely and it can lead to mistakes. Since joining school over the last 6 months, I've built loads of relationships. I'm getting feedback on my investing, support from other. It's just a positive environment. So even if you don't join my school community, have a look into school. Watch some Alex Hormozy videos, get into school, and there's communities on everything you can think of. Stock investing, crypto investing, any type of investing, any type of personal development. If you're into cars, for example, if you're into jiu-jitsu, there will be a community in there for you. So you're not just doing your thing by yourself. You get in there around other like-minded investors. So hopefully with me going live today, I've driven home the importance of investing. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you join me in my community on school. If you want access, free lifetime access, type yes below in the comments and I'll send you the link. Then you can come in, do the course material, as I've said, ask me any questions about my 23 years of investing experience, and I believe with everything I've got, this is going to help you. It's going to save you hundreds of hours of research, hundreds of hours of watching the wrong type of YouTube video, of listening to the wrong type of podcast. And then we can build wealth together. That's what it's all about. We want to retire as soon as possible so we don't end up like Frank, who I mentioned at the start of the video. So now what I want to do is, if I get my computer working, I'm going to tell you what I would have got if I'd have kept investing from an 18-year-old. So 18 to 42, 24 years. I'll just get this computer back on. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them figures into a compound interest calculator. So if you are investing and you realize how important compound interest is, just a free tool, and it helps you suss out when you can retire. So, internet's shocking. So here we are. Currency, pounds. Initial investment, 0 because I had nothing as an 18-year-old. Now, interest rate, 10%. This is based on historical data. If you invested in the S&P 500, for example, easily achievable when you look into it. I'm going to go 24 years. Deposit amount, £500 a month. And we're going to calculate. So, as you can see, well, you probably can't see. Let me show you that. Right. There we go. So, if I'd have invested £500 a month from 18 to 42, I would have ended up with £594,845. So, yes, this might not have got me to early retirement, but it would have given me serious options. So what would I do with that money now? I would pay my mortgage off. I would pay my mum's mortgage off. I would buy a few more rental properties, and I would be maybe not completely financially free, but very, very close. It would give me serious options. This is what I want for any 18-year-old watching, if there is any 18-year-olds, any 20-year-olds, any 30-year-olds, anyone watching, the importance of investing. And I also want to draw your attention to the interest earned. So interest earned in this situation is £450,000. That's because of compound interest. This is something you want to be taught at school, but it's massively important. If you've got the discipline to invest every single month compound interest is going to work its magic. Anyway, that's enough for me whittering on, blabbering on about how important investing is. Hopefully you've taken some value away from what I've been saying. Hopefully you join my school community and I can help you with my 23 years of investing experience. But even if you don't, seriously check out school. The more I get into it, the more I'm enjoying it. I'm getting help and support of other like-minded investors. And whatever you're into, if you are into investing, join my community, join another community. You're going to get that help and support that I believe we all need. Anyway, have a good Friday, have a good weekend, and hopefully I'll see you in my school community.